court.
Now, how confident are you that that will be in your favor?
The other point I should wrap that up with is that all those Jankara judgments they've got, because they're already pronouncements of court, we've had to put in processes to appeal them.
Okay.
And as I've told you, you don't have to be a lawyer to analyze these things, to know that either the full facts were not in front of the judge, so therefore he made an error in his judgment, or the full facts were in front of him and he was part of the conspiracy to pervert the true, clear will of the people of Ondo State as far as the PDP is concerned. Because in the PDP, Eyitayo Jegede is our candidate. This is a man who went into a primaries and he scored 97.3% of the votes. For God's sake, if a guy scores 97.3% in an exam in the university, he gets a first class. Not like his counterparts in the APC who scored 24.3% or 23.4%, something like that, and is unpopular. If it was a university, he'll have to have a carryover. He'll have to repeat that exam. But that's for them. They can deal with half-baked graduates or half-baked and mediocre. We don't mind. But this is a guy that is sound, popular in the party, and they want to use some kind of vehicle to circumvent the true wishes of the people. And we're saying no. So it doesn't need a judge or a lawyer to adjudicate on this matter fairly.
That means you are extra confident that this will
You said it, not me. But what I'm doing every night is that I'm sleeping with my two eyes closed. Because we're absolutely sure that this is a case that the paper on which those judgments are written, yes, should go in the trash can.
Okay, now, let me ask you, what if it goes the other way around? Do you have a plan B?
You see, if it goes the other way, it's already in the court domain. If it goes the other way in the court of first instance, you take it to the next level. It goes to the appeal court. If it goes against you in the appeal court, then you take it to the Supreme Court. So it's not the end of the story if it goes against us. If it goes against them, of course they can take it to the higher levels. But apart from what is going on in the courtroom, we are also talking about punishment for fraud. And it surprises me that those petitions reached the desk of Mr. President and we didn't get an answer the next day. Because this is the same government that tells us that they are fighting corruption in the judicial circles. It might be because it's political, and it may be because it's PDP. It doesn't surprise us that the corruption war is partisan. It goes in one direction when it is PDP officers like Fani Kayode, who's still in custody, like Olisa Metu. But when it involves people like Amechi, then the government turns a blind eye and say, we didn't see that. Or when it is your chief of staff who's been accused of collecting 500 million to mitigate the debt of MTN, then you don't do anything. So it concerns us that this fight of corruption and these juicy cases that land on the desk of the president do not receive prompt attention. Because if they do, then the whole world that is looking at Nigeria will consider whether or not this is a true fight. But of course, what do you expect? When his wife says, I don't know what's going on, I don't know who's in charge, I don't know all these people, they're all imposters, he's not in control, and then his party comes out and says, we agree with your wife, you're not in control, sir. What they should do, the honorable thing for Mr. President to do, is to resign. And that's what happens in advanced crimes. When you see that you've lost control of the field, it's just like a referee. If a referee has lost control of the field, it's anarchy.
What if that is just a domestic disagreement?
Which one?
That?
Which
is meant by the wife of the
You mean the wife? She's right.
What
She's
makes you
very,
think
very
she's right?
You see, because we have been saying it. We said it when it was 100 days. That this Baba Goslow doesn't know where he's going.
Who is Baba Goslow?
Baba Goslow now. There's only one Baba Goslow in Asura. In Asura. We said it at 100 days. They said it's too early. We said it at 6 months. They said it's too early. We said it at 1 year. They said at least you people did 16 years. Let us do our 4 years before we assess. You know, in a football match of 90 minutes, there's halftime. You play 45. You reassess, you rejig, do I need to bring in some substitutes? Do I need to change the plan? If you're a manager like Mourinho, after 30 minutes it's going wrong. You just change your team. You bring on 3 subs dynamically to change the whole spectrum because you want a result. We said it right from day one that this man, Baba Goslow, didn't know what he was doing. Because if it has taken you 12 years to get there, you must have a plan, a blueprint for Nigeria. but there is absolutely no policy on ground. And the things that they are implementing that's not based on policy has nosedived this economy from a thriving economy into one that is now down on its knees. We went from a high pinnacle point when we were handing over in May in terms of our economy, in terms of our respect, in terms of notability, in terms of our earnings. We've gone now to rock bottom, recession. And what is comical about it is that the APC will have us believe that recession is something that can be announced as existing in the country in August, and by December, we can be out of recession. I was in the United Kingdom when we had the recession of the 90s. Black Friday was black. It was black because interest rates on lending went from 5% to 15% in less than 24 hours. That is how bad it went. And they did not recover from that recession. Advanced country, United Kingdom. They didn't recover from that recession for over 8 years. And then another one hit them again in the 20s. Around about 2007, when America had an economic sneeze, just an economic sneeze in America, the whole global economy was affected. Up till now, the UK have not recovered. They're gradually coming out of it. So when you say that your nation is in recession, it's a problem. But this government will have us believe we're in August, we'll be out by December. Thank God for Madam President, who said, Mr. President, there's a problem. His lieutenants now, the governors, have now shooken up and they said, Loto, Your Excellency, I think we caused this problem.
And now, they took responsibility for that.
Responsibility
for the recession in the country with the promise that they're going to fix these problems. Is that not a signal that there's a solution in sight?
You cannot give what you do not have. If you don't have the ability to give it. Look, Amechi has been hounded and hounded and hounded. He was hounded before his name was submitted as a potential minister. During the process of screening, all the petitions against him were brought to the fore. They were ignored. Since this problem involving the judges has started, his name has been a recurring decimal. We have heard Amechi, bribing this, bribing that. So the man is busy, or he's probably busy, I'll use my words, probably busy, planning his next scheme of bribing. And that is why nothing is happening in the economy. Because it took our president so long to assemble that team, people that we could have assembled within 12 hours. And every sector of the economy is lagging behind. And they're just playing to the gallery. They used a lot of propaganda. They used the social media to convince people that they had plans. Mr. President has dumped his 81 promises that he made to the nation pre-election. He hasn't gone back on it. He hasn't implemented anything. But you know what? We are waiting for halftime to see what happens. So in answer to your question, the recognition that you have failed your first term of exam may prompt you to do better in the second term. But if you haven't got the ability, you need to be flushed out of the class.
Are you saying this because you belong to the opposition?
I'm saying this because Nigerians have seen it. Nigerians have seen the price of rice go from 8,000 naira per bag to 26,000 naira. That wasn't our party that did it. Nigerians have seen the price of Gary escalate. They're talking about fuel, the pump price of fuel. Before they came in, they told us we'll make it 40, 45 naira tops. They met it at 86.50. We're now talking 145, and guess what? What they're telling us now is that 145 is not sustainable. It has to shoot up again. That is because they are clueless. And the sooner we see the back of them, the better. And guess what? We have an election coming up in this state next month. It's less than a month away now. It's on the 26th of, well, it's about a month, 26th of November. You can only decide to vote against PDP if you can see other models that are better. Now, there's no state in the federation where COA party or AD or indeed PPA is ruling. But there are some states where APC is ruling. So you can ask yourself, by bringing in an APC government into Ondo, will we be improving on the legacies of the current 8 years of the current administration? They have a scorecard in so many departments: education, health, transport, urban regeneration, agriculture, you name it, they've got it. And they've been benchmarked by national bodies and international bodies. But if you're going to bring in APC, let's see what's happening nationwide. If it is the story of the government at Aso Rock in Abuja for the last near 2 years, then APC is a complete flop and is not welcome in the state. Maybe that's too far and remote. Let us look closer home. Come to the geopolitical zone of the Southwest and take each of the states of the Southwest where APC are in control. In Oyo State, they can't cope in the public schools. They want to sell them off because they can't cope with paying the salaries, paying the expenditure that needs to run public schools,
don't you think this
providing
schools
free
better
education.
in the hands of private individuals or private
But
organizations?
is that what they said in their manifesto? And the truth of the matter is,
It's possible,
in Ondo
it's
State,
possible for you to make a promise.
in
but
Ondo State,
in the process of trying to execute that promise, you might discover better methods, and you start to go with that.
my brother, in Ondo State, under Mimiko, we have built mega primary schools. They are running. We have provided shuttle bus system for them for the last 4 years, uninterrupted, taking our children to and from school in the morning and afternoon. Unprecedented in the nation. And we've run it successfully. And guess what? When we say the government has run it, it is public servants that are running these establishments. It's just like you have a policy. You have a policy document that says this is what we want to do. You have a framework for how to implement it. You put it in place, and it is working. If it's working for us, why can't it work in Oyo State, an APC-led state? That's what we're saying. If you look at the depth profile of Ondo against Lagos, which is their success story, there's nothing to write home about. Lagos State is generating in the region of close to 30 billion every month internally generated revenue. They should not be owing anybody. But the Debt Management Office in September produced a report which said federal government is the largest debtor in the nation. And guess what? Followed by Lagos. Followed by Lagos. How can you be earning so much and yet you are the largest debtor out of the 36 states in the Federation? It's because something is wrong. And those are the things that we are saying that we want to bring
moving forward,
into Ondo State.
President Buhari
God
has written
forbid.
the National Assembly to borrow